I wanted to mention what Bernie Sanders said about Manchin. He, in his more milder way of talking about Manchin, Sanders said about Manchin, quote, he's taken campaign contributions from 25 Republican billionaires. Is he interested in representing the interests of working class people in this country? I don't think he is, end quote, Bernie Sanders. So Sanders really went after Manchin on Sunday on some of the talk shows, especially on ABC, for Manchin sinking the Democratic Party's last best effort to pass renewable energy funding. And Sanders obviously accuses Manchin of acting on behalf of his corporate billionaire donors instead of working class people of his home state. That's another thing. You know, so much I don't understand how people can be so willfully blind. But the people of Virginia, I mean, what Manchin is doing is filling his own pockets with blood money while the people in his state are left to die. And they don't see that? Now, Bernie said that the notion that Manchin abruptly pulled the plug on the Democratic Party's plan for a scaled-back reconciliation package ahead of the November midterms was bullshit. Sanders didn't believe that. Sanders told Martha Raddatz on ABC that there was, quote, nothing new, end quote, about Manchin's move last week when he told the Democratic leadership that he's not going to support new climate spending or taxes on the wealthy. No, I'm not going to do it. Fuck them. Let them die. I don't give a shit about these hillbilly bastards in West Virginia who continue to send me to the Senate. Oh, what a bunch of dumb fucks. I only care about the people that give me the money so I can drive my Maserati and live on my yacht. Jesus Christ. So Senate Democrats are now left with a plan to push ahead with an even narrower, smaller bill that would extend the subsidies that are soon to expire on the Affordable Care Act, where people can get medical insurance. And they're also working, the Democrats are working to let Medicare negotiate the prices of some prescription drugs directly with pharmaceutical companies. You know, the real kick in the face that George W. Bush gave to everybody in this country who gets prescription drugs, especially old people, that fucking war criminal George W. Bush signed into law prescription benefit on Medicare, but he set it up so that Medicare, the government agency, couldn't negotiate the prices. That Medicare had to accept what these corporate monsters in industrial pharmaceuticals, what they said the price would be. George W. Bush, that fucker. Anyway, back to Bernie Sanders. He said, quote, if you check the record, 6 months ago, I made it clear that you have people like Manchin and Sinema who are intentionally sabotaging the president's agenda, what the American people want, what a majority of us in the Democratic caucus want. The problem, Sanders went on, the problem was that we continued to talk to Manchin like he was serious, willing to negotiate. He was not. This is a guy, Sanders went on, who is a major recipient of fossil fuel money. A guy who has received campaign contributions from 25 Republican billionaires. You think this guy is serious? End quote. And Sanders might as well have given Manchin the finger when he reacted with just complete disgust at Manchin's latest insistence that he's holding up Democrats' plans for renewable energy investments and Medicare expansion and other priorities because he, Manchin, has real concerns about high inflation. That's the bullshit line that this Christian terrorist, Joe Manchin, has been using for months to justify his obstruction to what the Democratic leadership is trying to do. You rotten bastard, Manchin. Sanders added this, quote, Some nonsense that Manchin has been talking about for a year. West Virginia, it's a beautiful state. I've had the pleasure of being there. Great people. It is one of the poorest states in this country. You ask the people of West Virginia whether they want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. Ask the people of West Virginia whether we should demand that the wealthiest people and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes. Ask the people of West Virginia whether or not all people should have health care as a human right, like in every other country on earth. And that's what they will say. In my humble opinion, Sanders added, Manchin represents the very wealthiest people in this country, not working families in West Virginia or America, end quote. To which I would add, no shit, Senator Sanders. And Manchin, it needs repeating, he's the chair of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. How about that, huh? See, that's what the Senate seniority system does. They put this miserable fucker, this potential mass killer, in charge of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee. But he's the top beneficiary, the most money in the entire Senate from oil and gas companies goes to him. And he gets campaign donations from these billionaires who previously supported the fascist pig-fucking Donald Trump. And Politico reported last week, new campaign finance disclosures show that, quote, Bill Gates gave Manchin $2,900, as did former Virgin Galactic CEO George Whitesides and Morris Goldfarb, a Jew contributing to this fucker, whose G3 apparel group owns brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, DKNY, and Karl Lagerfeld. Morris, you nasty son of a bitch, you. The Politico also reported, quote, a number of high-powered executives maxed out to Manchin between April and June, including banker Warren Stevens, hotel executive Tom Baltimore, Motorola CEO Greg Brown, Home Depot CEO Edward Decker, Yum Brand CEO David Gibbs, Gillette CEO James Kitt. These are billionaire white Christian terrorists, with the one or two exceptions, who provide the campaign money to this filthy son of a bitch, Joe Manchin. I don't understand why the Democratic Party doesn't kick him to the fucking curb, like the bag of garbage he is. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcasts. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.